Welcome to Help Stop the Genocide in American Ghettos podcast. I'm your host, Emmanuel Barbee. This afternoon, we have a special guest. We have Prophetess Chiquita Simpson from Maryland. Okay, you're on the air.
All right, all right. Greetings, Emmanuel Barbee. I appreciate the opportunity. Thank you so much for just being able to share what I believe is on my heart to share. I appreciate what you're doing in the community. It is needed. It takes strength, it takes fortitude, it takes resilience, and it takes a posture to be able to make a change, right? To be able to be in the position to make an impact. And so we salute you, sir, for having this session here, this YouTube or Zoom live. I'm not sure what but it's an honor to be here. So I appreciate it. But I bring you greetings on the behalf of my husband. My husband and I, we pastor a church in the Capitol Heights, Maryland area. The church is called the Overcomers Church. And so we've been pastoring now in this sector. We've been pastoring for almost 6 years now. However, we have served in ministry prior to actually pastoring. We have served in many different capacities before. And so we're in this space now to build the kingdom of God and to, bring disciples ultimately. So I just wanted to just share some things that, like I said, I believe that's put on my heart to share. So whomever is watching, wherever you are in the world, wherever you are within the United States of America, wherever you are in Chicago, um, having a stand, right, and taking a stand is what I believe we want to discuss on today. And so within a community, within the Black community especially, there's systemic racism, right? There's marginalization, there's um, perpetual efforts to try to come against the Black family, ultimately the Black man, because he's the head of the family. And so if you can cut the neck or cut the head rather, the whole body will follow. And so a lot of times what's happening is a lot of our Black men, whether they are incarcerated, whether they are down on their luck, wherever they are, whatever situation that they're in, a lot of times, right? And not in all cases, but a lot of times it's intentional because if you can get the Black man, if you can knock him out, you can disrupt the whole family, disrupt that structure of a family. Now, of course, there are certain situations where there is, whether it's a one parent household, and that could be a father that has children, it can be a mother, who has children. But ultimately, it's intentional to try to cause some type of riffraff, some type of disruption in the Black family. And so I think that ultimately we understand that we're created by God, right? We understand that we all are created with a purpose, no matter how we got here, whether some of us got here through incest, through rape, through molestation, whatever it is, however we may have got here, there's still a purpose that God has for our life. And so for you, sir, to be able to stand strong on this, to say, no, I'm going to keep pushing. I'm going to keep pushing. As I mentioned, that takes tenacity to be able to do. And so I believe that one of the things well, let me go back. One of the things that I want to share is regarding mentoring. Right now, I believe that mentoring is very, very important. It's something that is in my heart to do. And mentoring, I believe, is a foundation that can be built upon. So, for example, our children, of course, we're in society now where, you have Roblox and you have PS5s, you have all these things. Ultimately, it's still yet a distraction. It's still yet a method of distraction. So you have children, they're growing up a lot of times by themselves because of whether it's a one parent household, whether it's sometimes two parent household where there's a lot of distractions because now, years ago rather, people can probably survive off of one income, right? Where, whether the father was out working outside of the home, and there may have been, the woman working inside of the home. And so now a lot of roles have been sort of switched around. And so because of it, everybody do what they have to do, right? For the sake of the family, for the sake of surviving. So we have now two parents who may be in the household who are working outside the home, right? As well as, time inside the home. But they're working jobs for 8 hours a day, 10 hours a day, 12 hours a day. Ultimately, if there's some commute time, like I'm in the DMV area. So you have to calculate all that time. So it may take you an hour to get dressed, it may take you an hour to get to work. Then you have an 8 to 10 hour day. Then you have an hour commute home. So all this time, in a lot of instances, children are home by themselves. They're somewhat raising themselves. There's not too much of parental guidance, if you will, that's in the home. And so my desire is to have a mentoring program where the mentoring program would be inside of the schools. So children ultimately they spend a lot of time at school. They spend a lot of time at school, and sometimes kids, they're kids, right? And sometimes they need stuff to do. They need things to do, and so I'm like, what if I can have a mentoring program inside the school that when they get out of school, they have something to look forward to. They have something to feel like, hey, I'm going to learn something. I'm going to meet some new friends, or I'm going to be in a place of acceptance, or I'm going to be in a place where people will like me, or people will show love, or however. That's what, children are looking for. And even as it relates to the school system, right? They're teaching a lot of, let me choose my words, they're teaching a lot of things that are not necessarily going to push them forward outside of school. So we understand about scholastic school, right? But for the most part, a lot of the subjects that are taught is not necessarily providing them education. There's a difference, I believe, between education and knowledge versus what's being taught in a book. Okay. And so I said, okay, if I can do that, even as it relates to even boys, right? We need mentoring programs with boys outside of the school where they can kind of go and feel a sense of belonging. Like even within the Black community, and there's whether there's communities in Maryland or as Emmanuel or Chicago, but whatever areas that we have these disparities, they're people that are looking for something. They're looking for love. They're searching for acceptance. They're searching for a sense of community, a sense of belonging. And so I think mentoring, I think, is a foundation to help aid in at least redirecting students, right? Because they once they become students, if there's no redirection in their life, if there's not churches that has these programs, or nonprofits that have these programs, or boys and girls clubs and community centers, so that they have something to do, so that they don't feel like they're aimless, so that they don't feel like they don't have a sense of purpose. But if they can go somewhere where they can gather, where they can go somewhere and be taught and learn, just the life skills and things like that, I think is crucial in helping their development. Once we help them there, it's like progression, right? Once we help them there, and as they feel like, okay, I've learned something, I feel a sense of love, I feel a sense of, I can really be somebody. Then they may, if they choose to go on to college, right? Because even in that's a whole nother thing. I'm definitely not against college at all. I'm not against college education. I graduated from Virginia State University in Petersburg, Virginia, with a bachelor's of arts in mass communications with a concentration in print media. I also have my master's degree in organizational leadership, a master of science. So I'm not against college at all. That's not against college at all. But just saying that if we provide mentoring and provide it as foundational concepts that they can learn and life skills. They can go on to whether they want to, I see your US Army, so they want to go to the military. They feel like they can do it. If they want to go to college, they feel like they can do it. Or if it's what do you call it? Like an associate school. I forget what the name of it. When they get out of high school, it may not be a 4-year degree, but associates where they can get a social, but just progression where they feel like, okay, I have a sense of belonging within my community. I can make a difference. And ultimately, if they see more of, right, our Black and brown people within certain areas of influence, they feel like, okay, well, you know what? Well, that person is, okay, maybe I can do that too. So I think mentoring is I'm truly an advocate of mentoring, like at the heart. I'm truly an advocate for mentoring because I think, as I mentioned, that is a foundation that a lot of students can build upon. As they build upon that, those students can become adults, right? Adult citizens in the community to be able to make an impact. And so I'm just honored to be here. And as I mentioned. Right now, rather, I am working on some projects that I'm looking to launch within, maybe looking at the date, maybe within another month or so. I do have an event coming up in June because me personally, I do know that God um, has called me outside of the four walls of the church because I think that's very important because sometimes or well, let's see, sometimes as church people, they feel like, oh, well, you have to come to me, you have to come to me, you have to come within these four walls of the building. And God has called us to go out, to go out amongst the people. Ultimately, it's community. It's all community. It's all just really loving on people and giving people hope, right? And so I know that God has called me outside of the four walls of the church. He has called me into the marketplace. So I have an event actually coming up in a few weeks now in June. It's called Prayer en Blanc. So really, ultimately, it's prayer in white. And so it's a time for women to come together and we come to be strengthened and encouraged and empowered to not only do just the work of God, but just to do the work of our families, to help the community, ultimately to help the nation, to help the world. So it's something that's not a DMV, what's the word I want to use? Sorry. But it's definitely not DMV. It has been called outside of the DMV area. So it's Prayer en Blanc. Right now, as I mentioned, it's in June 19th through the 21st. And I do have tickets. I am on social media. I am on Facebook as Chiquita Simmons. And I'm on Instagram under the Wiseologist, something that God had shared with me few years ago now, since the pandemic really. He shared some things with me in terms of the Wiseologist. So I'm sure we all know what mixologist, mixology and all that. But the name that he gave me was Wiseologist because everything that I do, anything, whether I'm just speaking, just whether it's casual conversation, whether it's family, whether I'm mentoring someone else, it's from the basis and the foundation of wisdom. And our foundational scripture is wisdom is the principal thing. Therefore, get wisdom. And in all you're getting, get understanding. And so that's my hashtag, or that's my name on Instagram. I am on YouTube in the process of building that right now. And I'm not sure if I'm on TikTok. It's so many social media sites that I'm looking to expand upon because social media is not going anywhere. It's not going anywhere at all. And so I think that all of us as a collective, as a community, we can capitalize on social media. Social media is here to stay, even with the pandemic. Some people may say pandemic or however the case may be, but it was a time for everything to shut down, right? Because we all are constantly going and moving and sometimes we can't stop because we're constantly moving and a lot of us are really exhausted, right? We talk about mental health and things like that, but this pandemic caused everyone to sit down And if during that time, if there was things, and I'm just speaking directly to you and just others who may be listening, but if there was some things that that God may have shared with you, even during that time, those things need to be in fruition, right? Those things need to be developed upon. And what I'm learning is, sometimes you want to have everything perfect before you start. And it's like, no, 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 start first. Start. And as you start, God will meet you. As you start, he may have told you one thing. He may not have told you all the things yet, but if he told you that one thing, start on that one thing and work on that one thing, and the next step he'll give you, the next step he'll get you. What is the phrase? I'm not sure who said the phrase, forgive me, I'm not sure who said the phrase, but was it, I don't want to get it wrong, but that you don't have to see the whole staircase, right? You don't have to see the whole staircase. We don't have to see the finished product from the beginning. No, we just take the first step in doing that. And so some things I wanted to share as it relates to social media, and even with your book, Emmanuel, the Solution for Black America, is again going back to the piece about technology, and technology is not going anywhere. And so targeting high schoolers, if they need community service hours, and the kids, they know these cameras, they have these iPhones, they know how to do these the iMedias and the cap cuts, they know how to do all these things. So perhaps reaching out to high schoolers, if they need community service hours, if you're businesses that have, whether you're a nonprofit business or you're a for-profit business, or 501c3, whatever business that you may have, reaching out to those high schoolers because they may need community service hours. There's something that I appreciate within the DMV area, something that I appreciated from the mayor. I forget his name now. Oh my goodness, I forget his name. Please forgive my informality, but I can remember his Mayor Barry. Mayor Marion Barry. That's something that I so appreciate, regardless of whatever ordeal it was, or whatever ordeal, or whatever things that were trying to come against him. Right. I do appreciate that he offered a summer youth program, and his summer youth program, again, going back to giving students a sense of belonging, a sense of worth, self-worth. It's giving them responsibility, giving them accountability. And so at the age of maybe 13 or 14 years old, maybe eighth grade or so, you were able to get a summer job. You were able to get a summer job. So there was obviously there was a list of different schools or different companies who extended for the summer program. But you maybe worked maybe 5 weeks or 6 weeks, something like that. But you had a responsibility, right? You may have worked maybe 5 hours a day or something like that, and you would get paid. And so I remember that. And it's funny, I was telling a friend about it. I'm like, man, that program was stellar. That program was stellar as it relates to getting students off the street, giving them something to do. And so summer after summer, whether you worked at a swimming pool, whether you worked at a community center, whatever it was, but summer after summer, you had a job. And some of those people, I'm sure, even to this day, are still working, or who may be within the federal government because of what that one man decided to do, because of the impact that he made. And so we're talking about impact, right? There's a saying, um, there's millions of dollars of ideas in the graveyard, millions and millions of dollars, billions of dollars of ideas in the graveyard, because someone allowed fear to interrupt the vision that they had, the vision that God had given them ultimately. But someone allowed fear to interject into their lives. And so we're talking about impact. We're here in this earth to make an impact. We are here to do something, right? To not, live life haphazardly, but we are created by the creator to be creative. And so he wants us to make an impact, because ultimately, if we start with the family, right, if we bring it back to the family, if we bring it back to, building our men up, giving them, whether it's trades, even that, high school, they used to offer trade programs within high school, whether it was plumbing or carpentry, things like that, so that, again, so that people are able to have their sense of accountability, to be able to provide for their families. Because if you give someone, as the saying goes, if you give someone a fish, right, if you give them the fish, they'll just eat for that moment. But if you teach them how, they'll eat for a lifetime. And so it is even with trades. If we go back to providing trades and, providing things at the school level, that it's something that they can learn, that once they learn, they got it. They're not, it's not going to just leave their minds, but that'll have them start off, at a good pace in life. And so we can build the little boys up, having these programs from them, building the little boys up. Ultimately, you build the boys, you build the man, because there's a little boy in every single man that's looking for affirmation. They're looking for love. They're looking for attention and someone to tell them that I see you. So if we can build the family, starting with the man, right? Us building the black man, ultimately building the black woman as a unit. It's the two of them together as a unit, a two of them together to rule, right? So if we start there and build and build and build and provide opportunities, provide resources, and funneling those resources together. We know there's other nationalities that they pool their money together, whatever, however little money they have or however much money they have, they will pool it together to be able to do better, to get out, to get outside that whatever apartment or whatever it is that they're in. So if we can build the family, we can build the community. If we can build the community, we can build the nation. So that's all. I just really just some things that I wanted to share with you. But like I said, I am on Facebook at Chiquita Simmons.
Anything else you want to say?
Say it again.
Is there anything else that you would like to say?
No, I think that's it for now. I think that's it for now. If I don't know if anyone had maybe a question, or if you had a question or something like that. But that's it for me for now.
Well, before I let you go, can you just please tell my listeners, like the name of your church, maybe the address where they can, you know, come support you next month.
Sure, sure. So right now we're currently holding services, as I mentioned, in Capitol Heights, Maryland. We are on Google, so you can look us up there as well. But our address in Maryland is 8807 Walker Mill Road in Capitol Heights, Maryland. As I mentioned, with the event that I'm putting on for women, Prayer en Blanc, there are, I think I have to look at it may be on my website as well as my social media page, but my website is thewiseologist.com. So wiseologist. So you think about the word wise and just put ologist on the end. So it's thewiseologist.com. That is trademarked. So I'm looking to build on that and to provide those mentoring services for young girls.
Well, and I just want to say to you, woman of God, whenever you feel led about coming back on this platform, you're more than welcome to do so. Also, once God blessed me to get my film project fully funded and made, and we get the Kai of Chicago up and running here in the city of Chicago,
Mm.
I'm willing to invite you and your husband, to come speak at our live events.
Okay, that'd be
No,
awesome. That'd be awesome.
that's what I'm trying. That's what I'm on.
Yeah, yeah.
But again, again, woman of God, I just want to just tell you a little bit about my experience. Yes, so many. It's a
Mhm,
lot of people out, that's on social media that's playing games. And yeah,
mhm,
there's a lot of scammers. But
mhm,
all I'm telling people, at least on my end,
mhm,
all I have is my revised book, and I encourage my
mhm,
listeners to support me.
Mm-hmm.
Read my story for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? If you agree with the vision and plan,
Mm-hmm.
then you will automatically become a grassroots community activist movement member.
Mm-hmm.
And you will also be a part of our film project if you want to go that route.
Okay.
But
Okay.
my thing is, I want to recruit brave and smart, like-minded Black Americans,
Mm-hmm.
brave and smart, like-minded African immigrants within the United States of America to work with me, help turn my vision into a reality. Work
Mm-hmm.
with me while I'm alive. Don't wait until I'm dead. I'm trying to do
Right.
something positive here. The only
Right.
reason I created this platform because I kept running across a lot of brothers and sisters here in the city of Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
They told me they wasn't interested
Mm.
and my vision and plan. And that was hurtful, woman of
Yeah.
God. I
Yeah.
was like, oh
Yeah.
Lord, well, what can I do? And God
Yeah.
put in my heart to create your platform
Yes.
because I refuse to be ignored. I'm trying to build something constructive, something positive that can be passed down to the next
Yes.
generation. That's
Yes.
all.
Yeah.
Ain't no scams over here.
Yeah.
Because I
Yeah.
want people, yes, I want people to read the book first.
Yes.
And now, if I do come across someone that disagree with the vision, then you are entitled to your opinion, but you can't be a part of us. Over
Yes.
here, we want to raise the bar. We want to make
Yes.
sure in my Christian business, make sure we separate ourselves from con artists, pedophiles, um, hardened criminals,
Mm-hmm.
and terrorists. We don't want those type of people up in this business because that's going to bring down the business, and that ain't what we
Yes.
want.
That's
We
right.
want to uplift the community.
That's
We
right.
want to connect with I would say the African immigrant community, so that way we can build from with each other,
Mm-hmm.
build form an alliance